everyone. I'm back. First, my name is Michelle, if you've forgotten, and this is Making It with Michelle. I have been absent since the end of November. I hope you've all been doing well. And we're gonna have just a leisurely catch up of what I've been up to and why I've been absent, and just looking forward to the future. You can see I'm kind of filming in a little bit of a different spot. One thing that I had really wanted to do this last Christmas season was hang up a curtain rod with some clips so that way I could display a big quilt on this wall behind us year round. And so I finally got to order the curtain rod, and I already had the clips, and so I had talked to Erin and said, hey, do you think I could film in front of that quilt, just so, I don't know, a little bit more exciting than like windows and blinds behind me. So he said yes, we could do that, and so I'm coming to you today from a new little spot, which is literally 90 degrees away from my stitchy spot, which is right there. So the quilt behind me, let me just tell you, we're still in Valentine's over here because I can't be bothered. Well, I can't change the quilt behind me. We put the curtain rod really high, and so Aaron has to change it, and he has to be on the stool. And so so he's in charge of helping me change the quilt when I get to that little moment. But this is called Patchwork Hearts. I think it's Patchwork Hearts 2, maybe? And I just used all fat quarters from my stash, and the little heart print is a hole punch dot by Ruby Star, and it's the cutest thing, and I'm obsessed with it. If I'm really good, I'll have Erin insert a picture, but please don't hold your breath for that. So anyways, I'll briefly share about my life. This has been a really busy season for me. I have been trying really hard to finish my dissertation. I started an online doctorate of education program 5 years ago, and I've been working on writing my dissertation for the past about 2.5 years. And I'm very pleased to say that I am almost done. I'm defending, today is March 22nd. I'm defending in 9 days. So, and hopefully I'll get everything ready and graduate the semester. So that's really where I've been putting my time. Work has also been very tiring this semester. Spring is always really hard. Fall, it seems like everyone's rejuvenated and we're all excited to be in school, and I don't know, we haven't lost hope or faith, or I don't know, but spring, it just seems a little bit tougher. So work's been a little more draining, I think, than normal. But so anyway, so that's what's been going on in my life. And so anyways, I'm very happy about that. That's my biggest whip, let me be clear. And so I'm very proud to really almost be finished and be just moving on to the next phase, and as I lovingly call it, the monkey on my back, and get that off my back. And more time to stitch and do the things that I love, and kind of overcome this hurdle of finishing this milestone in my life. So anyways, that's pretty much what's been going on around here. We don't have a ton of travel this summer or anything like that. I'm going on 2 retreats and really looking forward to both. So, okay, let's get to the stitching. I don't know if it's a lot because I haven't been here in like practically December, January, February, practically March, practically 4 months, but I'm going to show you everything anyways, and I'll share what I have to say about that. So last I spoke to you, I actually had started, I don't have a picture of it, so this is me waving at Erin that this is the part where I need to put in the picture. I actually stitched a plum street for my friend Lisa. It's called All Is Calm, and I fully finished it, and that was her Christmas gift this year, so hopefully there's a picture up right now. I stitched it on a 40 count blue. I couldn't tell you, well, I guess I could tell you what it was. So I have my little book here still. I stitched it on 40, I bet I started it right at the end of November. Pardon me. I called it Lisa's Donkey. Winter Moon by Color and Cotton, 40 count Winter Moon by Color and Cotton. And I used all the called for floss. I fully finished it, gave it to her, and it was fun to stitch for her, and something I'd been wanting to stitch for a little bit. So in return, Lisa stitched me this cute little pillow. Isn't that sweet? If you know anything about me or do follow me on Instagram, you know I love to be at home. I love my house. I love being at home. I love being with my family and being cozy. And I am, you know, semi-social. Some of you are probably laughing at that. But I don't know. I'm with Dorothy. There's no place like home. So anyway, so that was very fitting, and thank you, Lisa, for that lovely gift. And I'm displaying it right now, and so happy to be there. I had some other starts and finishes during the month of December. So one finish, so it was New Year's Eve, and people do 12 by 12, and there's a myriad of things, and I said, you know, I looked at some of my whips and thought, before I've done some things where I've stitched on 2 pieces for like 6 hours straight, and this year I thought, well, what if I stitch on 1 piece for 12 hours straight? And so I did, and I finished, and this is Peace and Goodwill, and I managed to get it framed and back from the framer. So this is stitched on 40 count Tobias with all the called for colors. And I took this to the wonderful people at the Peanut Gallery, Denise and Joseph. I love them. They're the best. They treat me so well, and their framing is beautiful, and they're just the sweetest people. So I picked this up a couple weeks ago. So it came out so perfect. And I was so happy that I finished it. I think I actually finished it in about maybe 10 hours, and I just like called it at that point. Don't ask me where it was. I couldn't tell you, but it's done now. I had taken some pictures, and I was like, ooh, maybe I'll post like where I am every hour, like all those cool people do. I didn't. But anyways, Peace and Goodwill. I love it. It hasn't been on the wall yet because I'm not quite sure where I'm going to frame it or where I'm going to put it. Okay, and I'll show you some other finishes, but I want to talk about my next fully finished. So then January rolls around, and I had just finished that, and so I was like, I wonder what else I could possibly finish. I hadn't gone back to school yet, and so I had a fair amount of stitching time, and I, looked at some of my other whips and what was really calling to me, and I ended up picking up a Silver Creek Samplers called Back to the Grind, and I had started that, who knows, in 2024 maybe. Oh, I'd started it after StitchCon, I believe. Let me give you a little bit of info on that. I had started it after StitchCon in 2024. So it'd been kind of around for about a year and a half at that point, and I really didn't have too much done, but I thought it was so cute, and I had finished Coffee and Eggs last year, and I kind of have this whole coffee wall going on by our coffee bar situation, and I thought, I really want to get that done. And last I had gone to the Peanut Gallery, there was this perfect frame, and Joseph had told me that there wasn't much left of it, and they couldn't reorder it. And so I was like, you know what, I gotta get that done so I can get that frame and it'd be perfect. So I finished it in January. So here's Back to the Grind in the most perfect frame in the history of the world. I went and looked at the piece of the frame, and these are apparently your little leaves, and I hope you can see the detail, but they look just like coffee beans to me, and I love this. I can be happier with this. This frame was more expensive than the ones I normally pick out, but man, was it worth it. And it's stitched on this really light purple. I can't remember what the fabric was called. If you need to know that info, just leave a comment. But it's just the lightest purple. I got the fabric at StitchCon. I think last you saw this, I literally had back to and maybe I had started one of the letters, and so I did all of this in January, and I'm so happy. I think this is the cutest thing. I'm so pleased. Um, I just loved every little stitch, and it was fun. Lisa and I would stitch, at our respective homes, and then we'd like send each other an update, and I'd send her a little update, and some of it too, I think, is really just like maturing as a stitcher, if that makes sense. Like, I remember not being intimidated by the letters, but not knowing like how to set myself up for success without like killing myself on counting. And when I picked this up again, I was like, oh, I know exactly how I'm gonna stitch this, and yada yada yada. And so I don't know if I would have enjoyed it as much had I not figured that out. I don't know if that makes any sense at all. In my mind, it does. So, anyways, back to the grind, just for another quick little look. So, I'm pleased as punch. I haven't hung it up either because I'm at the point where I think I need Aaron Bird's help for some hanging situations. Okay, next. Those are all my fully finishes. I know you'd think I'd have 500 more. I don't. I'm sorry for that. But, like I said, it's just been crazy. Alright, so let's talk about some other things. I thought I had ironed everything and I didn't. But we're just gonna go for it, my people. Okay, another finish that I had in December was, I forget, this is called like Postmouse's Delivery. It's by Blueberry Ridge Designs. I think this is the cutest little mouse. I stitched it with all the called for colors. I did make a change. The stars down here are supposed to be in this like goldenrod color. Oops, there's a dog hair. But I didn't like that color. And so I didn't stitch it with that. I had picked just one of the pinks that I really liked and did that. I tried to get out of stitching those little stars at the bottom, and then Lisa told me I had to. I stitched it on a 40 count. Sorry, I get the ring lights over here. 40 count terracotta by, I think it's Atomic Ranch. It's this lovely pink color, and I just thought it was perfect. So that was really, I think I started and finished that in December. So that will become a little pillow for next year. And I really don't think it's super Christmassy, but so I could leave it out, in January and stuff like that. Terracotta by Atomic Ranch. Okay, I was right. So there's that, still on the giant piece of linen. I haven't cut it yet. Okay, the other main thing that I did in December, besides stitch that piece for Lisa, stitch this little Postmaster's Delivery, was, as I did the year before in 2024, I signed up for the Blueberry Ridge Advent. And the year before, I didn't stitch a single one. And I think part of it was, I was stitching the Roxy Floss and Jacob for Modern Folk Embroidery one, and I really enjoyed that because it was like every day I had a little homework assignment and I could get it done and boom, it'd be done. And that wasn't necessarily that way. She had released like 4 or 5 little pillows, which are super cute, and I still want to stitch them. But I don't know, it didn't have that cohesiveness to it, and so I wasn't as jazzed. And then this one did, and I loved it. I loved stitching this, and it brought me so much joy during that season, that period of time, and over the Christmas season. Let me tell you what I stitched it on. I used all the called for colors. Oops, that's the new book. I have 2 books currently in the going because I didn't want to write down all my whips. And so I'm just, as I finish old whips, I'm just using the old book. Anywho. Michelle? Okay, well apparently I didn't make notes for that. But I think this is on, it's on something Ridge. It's not, I want to say Blueberry Ridge, but that's not right. It's by, and I think it's by Atomic Ranch. It's this like bluey, like I said, if you've got a note, leave a comment and I'll tell you. I apologize. But anyways, here's my finish, and it's on a 40 count, and it's the cutest thing in the whole wide world. How could you not want to stitch that? I saw like a preview, or I don't know. I loved stitching this. Every stitch I enjoyed. I think I tried to get away with not stitching something too, and again, Lisa was, and probably Caitlin, and probably all my friends were like, no, Michelle, you gotta stitch that, and I did, and I'm glad I did. You can quote me on that. How sweet is that? This was on the list to get framed as well, but I decided to frame back to the grind instead. So that's why this one's really ironed neatly. Oh, I'm kicking myself for not knowing what the fabric is called. Or did I write it down? What the hey, Michelle? Something Ridge. I want to say, and I'm pretty sure it's by Atomic Ranch. Some of y'all are yelling it at me, and I apologize. Okay, next. Then I went back to school, and I needed some easy stitching. Yes. And I had some appointments that I had to go to, and so I needed some fill-in projects. And what else happened? Something inspired me, and I was like, I'm going to pick this up. And I couldn't tell you what it was. But I should really, if I'm good, I'll have Erin insert a picture of where this little project started, and you'll all die. But I finished Chili by Stacy Nash. I used all the I didn't use the called for white. I think I used like the DMC conversion. I didn't have the right color. But I used everything else, the sanguine and everything, and boy, was that belly a lot of fill-in. I stitched this on a 40 count, the tag's right here, Miss Crescent Crown Cream Puff. And I love fill-in, I really do, but man, the last, 500 stitches of fill-in were really, I was really ready to get this little guy done. I have no idea how I'm going to finish him, but right now I'm just glad that the stitching part is done. I think the animal crackers are really cute, but I don't need to stitch every one personally. Stay tuned. I do have another one kitted up. Okay, then I really want to work on my whips this year. I don't have anything against starts, but I have so many huge projects and I love them very much. And I really want to make progress on them this year that I kind of am not. Normally if I want to start something, I'm like, yeah, let's do it, and no big deal. And I'm kind of trying to be more mindful about my starts, and so I have been more mindful about my starts, and we'll talk about those in a little bit. This is a start and a finish. I did this over I did this in January, I believe. And let me show you this little picture. I don't really want to take it out of the package. This is a free pattern by Hands On Design. It's called You Have My Heart. And I have this little thing because I bought the laser cut like little heart pieces so I could make it into this little kind of ornament situation. And I did stitch it on 32 count. And this is my little finish. How cute is that? I did a color and cotton conversion. I didn't love the brown, so I did kind of a darker teal color. And I did do it on 32 count, and I did it with one strand, and I think it looks great. If you want to know the colors, just, like I said, leave a comment. I stitched it on 32 count, one of the remaining Milk and Honey by Fiber on a Whim. So this will be on the to-do list for finishing. As you can tell, I have not been in the mode for that. So that was really quick and fun stitch, and Lisa and I went to a retreat with a bunch of our quilting friends, our little quilting group that we kind of get together every month or two. We had a big retreat in Howe, Texas, and that was a really good time, and I brought that there. And I don't know if I finished it there, but I got a lot of progress on there. Okay, next little finish I finished this, let me get the right book out. I think I finished this in February, or I don't know if I even made it in February. I may have finished it in March. Yep, finished it in March. So the only finish I had in February apparently was Chili. Yeah. I started this in February, so I have stitched I've stitched the last 2 years of the Collector's Heart, and Kim had given me, I think, 2023, and I haven't stitched that one yet. But so I always kind of wait, and this year I'm also trying not to buy as much stuff, although you'll laugh when you see some of the stuff I have bought. Just because I have a lot of stash and I want to use it. It's, you know what I'm talking about. But I knew, I was like, I gave myself permission. I said, if the collector's heart is something really cute and I know I want to stitch it, you know, I give myself permission to buy that. And it was. Because I love a Quaker, and this one was very Quakery. And also, it's like a kit, and so you get the fabric, and I was never going to stitch on the 32 count fabric. So I picked a 40 count, but it had cottage garden threads, and I had never stitched with that, and so that was also intriguing. And so this is Collector's Heart 2026. I stitched this on a 40 count. It's by Tropical Stitches. I'll look up the name for you here in just a second. So how cute is that? It's teeny tiny. I think I'm gonna make a pillow out of it, or if I'll be brave and like buy a board or something to put it on, I think would be really cute. Okay, let me tell you about the fabric. It's 40 count Serafina by Tropical Stitches. So I had that waiting in the wings, and it was really fun to stitch. I was trying to get it done in February, and that went out right the window. Okay, and then I have a fairly exciting finish. This is a bigger finish for me. And it's been living with me since, I'm pretty sure 2024. Let me look. Yeah, 2024. I started this with, I think, a whole bunch of people, and they whizzed off and finished it lickety-split. I don't know what got into me, but I was thinking about this piece and thinking about this piece, and I was like, you know, I'm going to get that out and see how I feel. And sometimes I will have gotten it out in the past, and I'll have put in a thread, and then I'm like, done with it. But this time, I don't know, it was calling my name, and I heard it, and I listened to it until I finished it. And so this is Don't Fall Over, some of you people I know. This is Thy Love More Strong by Blackbird Designs. And I stitched this on 40 count straw flower by Lakeside Linen. I did use all the called for colors. I did personalize it. I put my husband's initials, AB, and you may have heard me call him by that. I put my maiden name initials, MW. I put the year we got married, and then I put my married name now. So there was a little bit of stitching I didn't do. Like, I didn't fill in the bowl down here. I kind of liked the fabric peeking through. I thought that was nice. There was also some like straight stitching, like back stitch along these little flowers, and I don't know, Schneckley was the color you're supposed to stitch them in, and obviously I could have stitched them in another color, but I like them as big old plus signs. So, and I think maybe some of the bird's eyes didn't get stitched, and I don't think that's the end of the world. I think it's fine. So I'm really pleased with this. I'm really happy that I got this done. It's been waiting to be finished for a while. I'm not super happy with how my house turns out. It looks very muddy, but that's how it is, and I'm not changing it. So that's my latest finish, and I'm very happy with that. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. I really got to be in the mood to stitch Blackbird, and for about the last year or two, I have not been in the mood to stitch Blackbird. And I was for the last about 3 weeks. Okay, friends, we're going to talk about some starts, I guess, because that's what I have waiting in the wings. So besides my 2 starts and finishes, the Collector's Heart 2026 and that other one. Sorry, You Have My Heart. I have only had 2 other starts this year, and one of them was January 1st. And one of them was last weekend. So, like I said, I'm trying. I have not had a ton of time for stitching, as you can see. But again, I'm trying to focus on my whips and the things that I love that I already have going. So, first up, we'll talk about my start from last weekend. So, I went to Tulsa and met up with my most wonderful friend, Caitlin, from A Stitch for Mom. And me and Lisa drove down there, and we were lucky. Somehow we like totally blanked, and so a lot of our other friends were there too. We went to the Silver Needle, and so we got to see Brooke and Krista and Kim and Renee and Melissa, and Lord, I hope to not leave anyone out. We saw a whole bunch of peeps, and it was really nice to see them. I'm really looking forward to our retreat in July, and that will be a blast. So, my top market release this year was Teresa Kogut's Find Joy, and I'm obsessed with this. I love the house. I love the pinks. I love the Find Joy in each day. I love the border. I find no fault in this piece. I'm obsessed with this. And so I was a good girl, and I went through all my DMC, and I had most of the colors. I literally only needed, I think, 4, and Lisa had one of them, so thanks, Lisa. And so I had to buy 3 DMC for this project. And I already have this fabric, and this is my teeny weeny little start. So there it is. I have that little thing in the top left corner. And yes, I'm doing this on blue. This is Wedgwood by Seraphim. So I think it'll be beautiful on this blue, to no one's surprise. So I'm happy with my start, and I hope to work on it a lot more soon. I told myself I didn't finish Thy Love More Strong until after I had started this one, but I was like, I know I'm going to finish that, and I did. And here's my bag. I got that from Painted Leaf Co. Isn't that the cutest little thing? Okay, so that was my other start. Okay, so then my first start of the year, I started with my most wonderful friends, Lisa and Brooke and Krista, and we have finally caught up to everyone's craze and Jet X Stitch, and we started Blueberry J. Is this not the most beautiful thing? For some reason, this obsession with blueberries I have started since last summer. I'm thinking I should blame Krista. She also loves blueberries. This part I cannot wait to stitch. But I love the colors. I love those magentas and fuchsias and purples and purpley pinks, and that's right up my alley. And Lisa and I splurged, and we got the Jet X Stitch, the Roxy Floss conversion, and I'm using their fabric as well. So there's my tiny little star. I've only worked on it like literally January 1st. So obviously this is like a blue-green. It's looking really green on camera, but it is a little more blue than it's showing up. I had the malachite, which is the called for, but it was really, really, really dark. And I was like, if I'm going to enjoy this, it can't be that dark. And the tag has left this little thing. Let me find the name of the fabric for you. Sea Breeze by Roxy Floss. So I'm really happy with it. That's what they recommended, and I love it. I also have Cherry Magpie waiting in the wings, and yes, Lisa and I also bought the Roxy Floss conversion for that one. No regrets. I don't know if we'll be good girls and wait to start it until we finish Blueberry J, but stay tuned on that. Okay, so those are my 2 starts. I know I'm doing really well, even though they're both ginormous, and probably won't finish either of them this year, but who knows. Okay, let's get the whips that I didn't, what's the word? Iron. Because I kind of forgot they existed. Okay, the first one is Coco Quaker by those little Primrose Cottage Stitches gals. Do you want to see the worst picture in the history of the world? There you go. I started this with my mom. She's stitching hers on a blue. I know. Look at me. I'm stitching mine on a 40 count Cup of Mocha by Miss Crescent Crown. I don't have a ton done. I did a silk conversion. It looks very, I know, I'm sorry about all the wrinkles. Just ignore all those. I did a silk conversion, and I think I got halted because the white is looking very cream, and it's not contrasting as well as I wish it would, but I don't know. I think I'll keep going on it. So there's that tiny little thing. It's so cute on 40 count. I stitched all the other ones on like 32 count and 14 count, and this is my first. I'm just leapt right up to 40 count. This is another painted leaf co bag that I got myself for Christmas. Isn't that so cute? Okay, sorry. All right, and then the whip that I was working on literally an hour ago is because I finished Peace and Goodwill, and I finished Isle of Fall most of all. I started this last year on my birthday, I believe, or near my birthday. The Earth Laughs by Brenda G, my gal. And I've been thinking about this one, and Caitlin sent me a picture of somebody else's finish, and so I was like, you know what? I'm going to get that out. And so I did this morning. And I had more of it done than I thought I had. So I'm stitching with all the called for colors. Sorry. There we go. I had this whole left motif done here. And so I was just working on those little quilt stars up at the top, those little Quaker motifs. So I'm happy with it. I'm going to keep this out, I think, and keep working on it. This is 40 count. I think it's Dirt Road. Dusty Road by Seraphim. And here's its cute little bag it's living in. This is a My So Quilty Life. I can't remember what the fabric line's called, but it's cute. So those are my two non-ironed whips. Sorry. Okay. Next. Guess I could zip that up. Next. Okay. Last spring break, me and Lisa and Brooke went to the Tinsmith's Y. And this is my start from there. There's my little bag that Brooke cutely made us. This one's also been on my mind. This is Manor at Quaker Hill by Brenda G. And I pulled this out, and I got a little bit done on this. I don't remember what the fabric is, but again, if you care, you can ask. I finished like this middle motif, and then I brought the top border across. So I'm making progress. This is one I think I would really like to finish this year, and hang it on my wall. So those like orchid colors are really calling to me. I think this might be Milk and Honey again, or Cream and Sugar, or Cappuccino. Maybe Cappuccino. Sorry. I'm trying, y'all. So anyways, this one, pre-prepared to see this on another video if I do another video. Okay, let's talk about my next project. I have been working very hard on one project in particular, and this is my One Strand a Day project. So let's talk about it for the year. And I had started this last year as a One Strand a Day project, LOL. This is a Modern Folk Embroidery, Love Thy Neighbor, big old Quaker. And it is 333 by 241. And I'm stitching a purple on purple conversion. And this is where I'm at. Let me make sure I get the whole thing in here. My board is now too small for this project. So let's talk about where I was. Sorry, I'm going to fold that one over. So I was working, last year, I had worked on a lot of this, and I had not quite finished this motif. So I finished this motif, I did this little bird, I did this motif, and I went all the way across. And so I'm very proud, and this is just literally one strand a day since January 1st. There's only been 2, maybe 3 instances where I've missed a day, of stitching, and so I catch up the next day. So, and I'm working on, obviously, this now. I did that little guy. So I'm very, very, very happy with my progress. This is just a joy, and I'm very optimistic that I can get this done this year by this method. This is a 40 count hydrangea by Fiber on a Whim, I believe, and I'm stitching it with a Roxy floss called Grape Soda. And how beautiful is this going to be? Just stop it. I know. I'm so happy. I've put in a lot of work on this, and so I'm all the way across and I'm all the way down, and now I'm just kind of filling in here. So this is about 3 months of very dedicated work, and I couldn't be happier. It's the first time she's been ironed in a while. So it just, I'm glad I picked a monochromatic. I think just a regular piece would be very hard, because I get decision fatigue. You know what I'm talking about? Like, what floss do I pick next? Where do I start next? Like, which motif after that? Blah, blah, blah. And this, I just pick a motif and I start going along on it. So I'm happy about that. Okay, and then let's talk about my last little whip. My last little whip I've been thinking about for a while. And I hadn't stitched on a plum street in a while, and so I was like, well, what's a plum street that I've started that I could maybe work on to a finish? And so I brought out Cotton Bird here. I started this last year. I'm stitching this on 40 count. I think it's called Agua Fresca by somebody. I can't remember. Just ask. So this is where I'm at now. I worked on this a lot this morning too. So last time you saw this, I had done like this half and these two guys and the cotton. So I've started the house. I brought this all the way across so I could cut the fabric. I put these little tulips up, and I just put in the bird cage here. So I'm really happy with my progress, and this is another one I'll probably keep out until I get it done. I was missing a plum street, and so that was my solution. Okay, that is all of my whips and such. Let me throw some of this over here. Don't mind me. I have some other stuff to share. Okay, let's talk about some other stuff. Okay, so like I said, last weekend we went to the Silver Needle, and I kitted up some things, and I'll show you what I kitted up. First, let me show you this little gift from Caitlin. It's this little stitched needle book. She got this at an estate sale we told her about, or Lisa found it, let me be clear. And I think I sent her the post or whatever, and she went and got that, and it's so cute, and I love it. And thank you, Caitlin. It's just the cutest little thing. Okay. Some other gifts I got that weekend was, this is from my friend Melissa. How sweet is she? I wasn't even at the little stitching table, and she gave me one, and thank you, Melissa. She's the nicest. And then, oh my God. So my friend Brooke was like, well, you have to come see me because I have to give you a graduation gift. And I was like, ma'am, you didn't have to do anything for me for graduation. And she understands. She also has her doctorate, and she knows how hard it is, and really understands on a level that, you know, some people just don't. And I'm very thankful for her for many reasons, and her friendship in particular. And look, oh my God, I about died. She got me Kohana scissors. Stop it. I wanted to break down and cry right then and there. Number one, my dogs ate my Kohanas that I had bought myself. So I said, never again. I'm never going to buy another pair because these freaking dogs will eat them. And she got me this sweet little pair, so thank you, Brooke. And they're still in their box because I'm kind of afraid to use them for fear that two little puppy dogs will eat them. So thank you, Brooke. I have the nicest friends, and I cannot tell you that enough at how much Flosstube has brought these wonderful friendships into my life, and it blows my mind that like making these silly little videos about me and my stitching has brought me such long-lasting and very genuine friendships, and I'm very thankful for that. For someone who I have made very long-lasting friendships in kind of very different stages of my life, and this was one and I have very good friends that I've made at work, and I'm still friends with them and everything, but I don't know, and I've had sewing friends that I've known for a very long time, and I guess I never thought that I would find stitching friends. I don't know, it's weird to think about. But anyways, let me just stop talking about that. So I have the best friends, and I'm very thankful for them. Okay, let's talk about what some of the things I purchased. Okay, let me just die really fast. Stop it. Look at that squirrel. This is a squirrel purse. Did I have to buy this? Absolutely. Will this live on with me for eternity? Absolutely. This was the first thing I saw when I walked in the door at the Silver Needle. Yes, and is there an acorn on the zipper? You would be correct. There is. I know. Michelle, you're ridiculous. I know. Okay, this was in the little sale bin. I didn't bring out everything that I bought, but I thought these little stickers were really cute. These little buttons. They're buttons. And this was 50% off, so I said, sold. I know. Cute. Okay, so let's look at some of the things I kitted up. Before we went to the Silver Needle, Lisa and I stopped at the shop in, let me see on my floss here, the shop in Arlington, and we saw my friend Jean. Hi Jean, if you're watching this video, and really great to see her, and I was kind of secretly hoping she would be there. So I got to catch up with her for a minute. But one of the patterns that Lisa and I both bought was Quaker Farmhouse. Yes, stop it. Is there a squirrel in this? Yes. Is it by two of my favorite designers, Blueberry Ridge and Pansy Patch? Yes. So check, 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 check. I will be starting this year, and I am not ashamed of that. And then Lisa was like, I don't know about the pinks and reds. Why don't we change it to purpley pinks? Sold. So the three colors we picked were Lavender Louise, Mulled Berries, and Boysenberry Jam. Yes. And I bought a piece of fabric from Wild Cactus as well that I'm going to use. It's called Wren by Shakespeare's Peddler. So it's just a neutral, but it wasn't one I'd ever seen before, and I thought it was a really nice color. So here's my little kitted up bag. How nice is that? Lisa, do we need to make a special project bag for this? Something to think about. Okay, the next one that I kitted up is, well, I actually just kitted it up yesterday because I was at Boxcar, is this cute little, this is the, I swore after chili I'd never stitch another animal cracker, and I'm not going to stitch a big one, but this one's pretty small. It says 2 inches by 3.5. This is a little pip. It's 41 by 67. So I had some of the flosses at home, and then they didn't have Merlot, and I didn't have Merlot, so I just switched it to Crimson by Weeks Dye Works, so I think it'll work well. And I picked up this is the other piece of fabric I picked up at Wild Cactus. This is Mystery by Hometown Fibers. It's this really nice gray, really dark brown gray color. I think all the colors in this sweet little hedgehog will pop really nicely on it. So I don't know about if I'll stitch the book, but I'm at least gonna stitch Little Miss Pip and go from there. Sorry, I can't seem to get it back in the plastic bag. So I kitted that up, and then the last one I kitted up was Sweetheart by Hello from Liz Matthews. I had seen some people stitching this when this was her Patreon, and I thought it was really cute, and I knew I was going to want to stitch it. Love a monochromatic. I love a heart. There's 3 heart quilts over there on the quilt ladder. There's a heart quilt right here. Like, I'm obsessed with hearts. So love a heart. And so I did get the pistachio, which Lisa had stitched Autumn Posy on it last year, and so I knew I loved the fabric anyways. And they had it at Silver Needle, and I said, you know what, I haven't seen it in person in 40 count, so I just bought it. And then I put some silks in here. They didn't have any silk at Silver Needle, or else I probably would have bought the Belsois. But I have kind of 3 contenders, and I'm sure Lisa and company will help me pick the right silk to stitch it with. And I think it's so cute. Yeah, looking forward to stitching that one. Okay, friends. Well, I have a few more little kitted up items that I would like to share with you. I probably already showed them, but we're going to look at them again. So these are, forgot about this one. Okay. So, this one you have not seen. This is a plum streeter. You know I love a plum street. You know I love a house. You know I love a complicated border. So this is Crown of Wisdom. This is an EGA exclusive. This is why I joined the EGA, so that way I could get the exclusives if I wanted them. I'm not a Zoom, like, big meeting kind of person. I wish I lived in person, so I wish I lived in Colorado or whatever. Not EGA, I said that wrong. Sampler Guild of the Rockies. I wish I could go in person. I was in a quilt guild for many years, and I loved going, and so anyways, but I've kitted this up. Now, you're thinking to yourself, Michelle, there's a giant ass red house right there. You would be correct. I've changed the color of the house. No, I did not change it to purple. I know, don't fall over right now. So, consulted with the gal pals, Lisa and Caitlin, and they helped me pick a fabric. And I literally had almost every floss except a few DMC. So, I currently I'm gonna stitch this on Cream and Sugar by Fiber on a Whim. And here's my little floss. And I've changed the color of the house to tartan plaid, this lovely teal color. I think will be very beautiful. So that's the color we landed on. And I think it will be great. So this is like in my mind's eye. But again, I have 5,000 honkers on the go. Honker, aka Big Ass Project. And so, I really have some ones that I want to finish, and so I really want to focus on them before I get going on some of these other ones. Like a Shepherd Song, that's in my eye. And that one's like a honker times 5. And so I can't start that one until I finish some other ones. Okay, but let's talk about some other ones I want to start that maybe aren't honkers. This one, I'm thinking I might start next week after I defend my dissertation as like a little treat to myself. So this is Spring Has Sprung. It also just started to be spring. It does feel like summer though in Texas because it's 90 million degrees outside. I think I have it kitted up. I at least have a lot of threads back here. And I have a beautiful piece of fabric. This is 40 count something. Fawn Pale by Color and Cotton. And yes, do I have the whole fat quarter in here? Yes. Would I like to release this back into my stash to stitch something else on? Yes. I know. So I might give myself a little start next week. Okay. I also have Penny Spring. I've probably shown this 57 times. I'm pretty sure I have all the floss. I might actually do the penny border. I did Penny Autumn and I did not do the penny border, but I really like the pinks. I have it kitted with something. I think I originally had a 36 count and I'm fairly confident I switched it for a 40. Nope, still 36. So we might have to change that up. Let me set that aside. Not that there's anything wrong with 36. I just don't like it as much as 40. And if I'm stitching it, I better be on something that I like. Okay. And the last one that I have in here is Token of Love by Brenda G. And I have a piece of Toasted Almond by Shepherd's Needle. I got it at Shepherd's Needle. HDF. I don't know what that is. Hand-dyed fabrics? Hand-dyed by Stephanie? I don't know. Toasted Almond. And I did a little color conversion when we were at Color and Cotton. So I'm still keeping to the blues and the golds. I think they're really pretty, and I know I can't have everything purple, right? So, anyways, so I would like to stitch that, especially because look at that tulip motif. She did that on the Earth Laughs, and I cannot tell you how excited I am to get to that motif in particular. And I'm guessing that once I stitch that and I get obsessed with this motif, I am going to want to zip over and stitch it 2 more times on this. I'm not stitching it on 28 count over 1. Sorry, everyone. And it's bigger than you think it is. It's 167 by 140. Ooh. But it looks so teeny tiny. How cute. So anyways, this is on these, all 3 of these are on my radar. So now that I quote unquote have so much more time to stitch, LOL, I'm hoping I can get a few of these started and finished. Definitely the Plum Street. This big old fat robin, though, I'm sure will take me 3 days. It's 154 by 79. And it's not, like I said, fill in or anything like that. I think it'll be fun. And literally last week, it was like Monday. This was like the epitome of last week. Monday was like in the 40s. Maybe even colder. And then by Friday it was 90 degrees. Yep. We had it better than Caitlin, though, bless her. She drove home to a blizzard in Nebraska. And then this weekend I'm sure it was hot as hell. So there's that. Okay, how much time am I at? I don't know. Okay, friends, well, let me talk a little bit about what else I've been up to. I've been knitting. I know, don't fall over. This is what happened. Lisa had texted my sister and said, I want to learn how to knit socks. And Jessica told me, Lisa texted me and said she wants to learn how to knit socks. And I had texted Lisa and said, excuse me, ma'am, keeping secrets over there. No. I had knit many a year ago. Let me show you one of my old knitting projects. Let's rearrange for the 37th time, shall we? I guess before I get into knitting really fast, I also did a little bit of sewing over the break. No Christmas quilt was made, so you can just laugh at that. But I did make a lot of bags. So this is the All the Things tote. And I made one for my sister. I made 4. I made 4 of these bags for lovely people, my most wonderful friends. And I have no regrets about that. But that was all I could do. And once I was done making those, I was done making anything. So sewing has not been a top priority. I did make a little table runner, which I could go grab, but it was for Valentine's Day, and I literally put the binding on this morning, so it wasn't up for Valentine's Day. I know. So I have a little bit of goals with quilting I was talking to Lisa about. I'd like to make 1 project bag a month, because I have so many like little kits that I've made up with zippers and lining fabric and everything. I just have to sit down and make them. So I'd really like to make 1 project bag a month, and then I can think of the top of my head 2 quilts that they're like the rows are pieced together, and I just have to sew the rows together. Like how, Michelle? Doesn't matter that it's Thanksgiving fabric, just freaking sew it together. So since I'm not teaching this summer, I have told myself I will be sewing a little bit more. So we'll see if I accomplish a few of these goals. Okay, so let's back to it. So a long time ago, I made this. This is the Honey Cowl. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. I have no idea what this yarn is. Purple, that's all I can tell you. I'm sure it was something lovely. And I love this little cowl. It's a free pattern and really easy to make. And you knit it in the round, and I got brave enough to do that, apparently. In my highest little knitting phase, I like to knit complicated things, and complicated as in lace. Lace scarves. But it has been, I don't know, 5+ years since I've knit, probably longer than that, 6 or 7. And do I know where I am in the pattern? No, why would I? So a couple of them one of them Jessica has at her house, and so she's gonna try to help me figure out where I am in the pattern and teach me again how to do all the stitches so I can finish them. But so I picked up a whip, and I was knitting on this. So this is another honey cow. It's not blocked or anything, as you can tell. This looks insane, or this edge looks insane. This was a Madeline Tosh. I can find the yarn for you if you want. And I finished this fairly recently. And so I finished that. That was a whip. And then we went to McKinney Knittery. And don't get me started about that glorious place. And they had this beautiful Lobby and Ami yarn. And I touched it, and it felt good. And there was purple. So what do you know? So Jessica had told me there was this knit along with Andrea Mowry, who I had seen some of her patterns from a few people. So this is the Jaunty. And I stitched it with Lobby and Ami yarn. I don't remember the name or what the weight of the yarn was. It's RN weight? Is that a thing? I don't know. But I finished this in time. I went to New York City for a conference in February. There was a blizzard. Yes, it was insane. And I got to wear this, and I blocked it, and I was very proud of myself. And so I've also been doing a little bit of knitting. And I've finished a few things, which is exciting. And I've tried to be very good as well about, kind of focusing on some knitting and not, doing a whole lot. While I was in New York City, I had brought a Sophie scarf to knit on, and I had done, I was probably here, and I finished the whole thing in 3 days. So this is also Madeline Tosh yarn. I got it at our local, one of our local yarn shops, Juju Knits. It was a color they had dyed for Fiberfest. As you can see, I haven't woven in the ends yet. I just think it's so cute, and it was really fun to knit. I'm looking for easy now, people, although you'll laugh when I show you two. I'll show you 2 knitting whips. Look at this cute little cherry bag, and apparently me and Elizabeth and are twins now. This is also Lobby and Ami yarn. Lisa wanted to knit a Sophie Sophie hood, and so I said, well, sign me up, I'll knit one of those. So it's a little bit different. The pattern is very similar to the Sophie scarf, but the way you do the increases is slightly differently at like what point in the pattern. And how cute is this yarn? I know, it reminds me of cotton candy. So this is my cotton candy hood. Let me tell you about the yarn, because I have the tag right here. This is Lobby and Ami Merino Aran, which is the same weight as the Jaunty, color Tickle. So there you have it. I'm not too far. It's been really hot, and I don't want to touch yarn. So that's my other problem, is it's really hot in Texas for a very large amount of the year. Okay, this is my other one. This is a bag I made a million years ago. Okay, this is, oh boy, the Shift Cowl by Andrea Mowry. And I'm using Spin Cycle yarn, which was quite the investment, just a little heads up. And I'm using 3 colors. I don't remember which one is which. If you really care, like I said. I have this dark purple, I have this teal color, and then I have this light purple color. This was the original reason as to why we went to McKinney Knittery that day, and I'll have to get that later. And then I got distracted by the Lobby and Ami. So anyway, so here I finished section 1. I know it doesn't look very exciting or impressive, but I'm very excited and impressed with myself. I have never done anything this complicated, and I think it's like technically color work. Don't you love? This was my little starting stitch marker, LOL. I've never done anything like this before. I've never had to use like different colors of yarn and like multiple balls of yarn, and so it's very intimidating, and I'm very proud of myself for finishing section 1. And this is light enough. I'm fingers crossed I'll want to knit on this in the summer. So stay tuned. Stay tuned on that, everyone. I know you're holding your breath. Don't hold your breath. Like I said, I'm not going to show any quilting. I just really haven't. And if I'm good, I'll have Erin insert a picture of my 4 bags that I made, but probably not. So anyways, Thanks for coming back. Oh, I would like to do a little bit of a shout out. When I went and picked up my pieces from the peanut gallery, there was this lovely woman in there with her husband. And number one, first of all, congratulations to this lady. No, I didn't get her name because I'm an idiot. And my mom asked me the same question. I was like, no, why would I have asked her name like an intelligent person? She finished a Hawk Run Hollow, and boy was it huge and full of stitching, and it was beautiful, and it was framed so perfectly, and wow, what a masterpiece. My guess was it was a year at Hawk Run, but I don't know all of those by heart or anything. So anyways, congratulations to you. And she was like, oh, I watch your videos. And I was like, oh my God, me? So anyways, it was very nice to meet her, and she had brought another piece. It was this crazy full coverage, and she was stitching her little heart out, and it was lovely to meet her. And so just a little shout out for that. And I would also like to talk about a Flosstuber that me and Kaylin and Lisa binge watched all of her episodes. Her name is Sam, and she's slow snail stitching, and oh my God, is she hilarious. Just like the things that she says, but also like the editing that she does in her videos is just, oh my God, hilarious. So anyways, I'll tag her in the description box, but please go give her a watch. And she has a very eclectic style, and she does a lot of color conversions. I don't know, and she's just the cutest little thing. So go give her a watch, and give her a like for me. So I think that's it, y'all. I think I've done my due diligence, and I'm not promising anything. Let me be clear about that. But I'm hopeful that I'll be back sooner rather than later. And if you've stayed as my subscriber, thank you so much. And I wish you all the best. And of course, happy stitching, everyone. Bye.